It was short. Well, that and I liked how it plays upon, how it's true, like, for them it was debates that, oh yeah, debate about yoga, debate about the occult and the esoteric, and we will hear you seriously.
Right.
Don't debate about social security and Euro subjects, because you don't know anything about that. Or rather, coming from you, I can't take it seriously.
Right.
I feel that with film as well. Like, make films about poverty, make films about issues that are Indian.
Right.
Show us something that India is about. But try and make stories about mental health, marital problems, something that the West deals with. No, we'd rather have a white guy do that.
Right. So make
we
what
face
we
the same
tell you,
thing.
make stuff that we view you as. Feed the... right.
It's like, no, it's more like they're open to us as long as we can sell them what they believe us to be.
Right.
But as soon as we try and sell them something that they're unaware of, it's hard to believe.
Right.
Like, you guys have cars and roads? I've actually been asked that once. So.
Wow.
Nice, Sudhir.
Thank you so much, Abhay. Thanks a lot. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the reading. Do I have a huge round of applause for Abhay, please?
razor-sharp wits that I've ever read, and a pen that is dipped in the most purest form of acid. And therefore, when you read some of his reviews of the films that you worked in, you make sure you come to his book launch. That's why I'm here. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I think that Mayank has a few questions that he wishes to ask me. I shall now proceed there, because that is what is being dictated by Mayank Shekhar. Check 1, 2.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bachchan, for doing this. You're scared of me?
Yeah. Actually, this is the closest that I've ever been to you in my entire career. So I do hope that you will be kind with me, Hank.
That's not true. There's a long story. There's one time that I was in your house, and that holy party that you
That's
had,
right.
and quite a few bombs down. I really jumped you, but you don't remember that one.
Was that you?
That was me.
Oh, sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. This is the second part of the book launch. Or as they say, since it's a movie in some form or the other, this is the post-interval, and the hero has just arrived. Big hand again, please.
Thank you.
Mr. Bachchan,
Incidentally, I was asked to be here at 8:45. It's not that I'm late.
No, you were absolutely on time. We just read those passages really, really fast because they were, well, not the most interesting. But my question to you, Mr. Bachchan, is because one of the passages that we started, from the book's point of view, was on how being Indian, male, and single is a tropical disease, and that's what this book starts with. Quite clearly, that's not true. It's a joke, and it's really to get the reader involved. But you were once also single in college, maybe right after college. When you look back at the Indian man back then, and when you compare the Indian urban man now, the young Indian urban man now, especially when it comes to relationship between men and women, how do you think things have changed over the past 5 decades?
I think I'll have to go back to my school days. That was in the 50s, excuse me. And I was in a boarding school, Sherwood College in Nainital, and we had a sister school called All Saints. And one of the highlights of being in Sherwood was that every Sunday the girls would come to chapel, which is the church in our school. And that was the moment when the entire school was dressed in their finest, and polished shoes and polished buttons on your blazer, because each one of us had a favorite amongst the girls' school, and we were hoping that they would notice us so that we could, when they came up for our sports event or for our drama event, the program that was a very rough cyclostyle kind of a page was put inside very neatly decorated, hand-drawn covers that we made for that particular lady, whom we were very fond of. And that was the ultimate form of romance, call it romance or expression of love, that we could do. It's putting that paper in a hand-drawn kind of a paper cover and asking the head girl of the school to distribute it out to them. Then you went into college, and university, as you will know, is a different ball game. And because I was in Delhi University, the entire university caught the bus that would stop at Miranda House, because that's where all the girls were. And everyone, even though their college was miles away, would get off there and just to have a look at these beautiful girls. Some very embarrassing moments happened because I was in Kirodimal College, and Miranda House decided to do a play where they required 3 men. And our drama instructor in Kirodimal was very kindly asked that if he could recommend a few names. So 2 boys were selected from St. Stephen's, and yours truly was selected from Kirodimal. And this entire college ambition to somehow be able to enter these very pure and pristine walls of the Miranda House was finally going to be accomplished, and we were just delighted. So on the first day of rehearsal, we were asked to come from the back gate into Miranda House. And we walked in with a lot of pride, looking around. And the dormitories are right above. And all the girls were standing there. And it's the first time that I realized how embarrassing it is when she's not really abused, but teased on the streets, because when the three of us walked in, all these girls that were standing there, kya chal hai? Kya style hai yaar? And some whistles were being blown and stuff like that. It was truly, truly embarrassing. That's the first time that I realized, what ladies go through on the streets. That apart, then we went into job hunting. I was working in Calcutta. And you're truly independent there. And the very maximum that you did was on the weekend you went to one of the prominent restaurants for a meal, ended up at another restaurant where there was dancing. Dancing was different in those times.
But how did you...
there was physical contact. You held a lady very gracefully, and you waltzed with her, or you foxtrotted with her. And then suddenly came this music where you had no contact at all, and you never even realized whether your partner was dancing with you or the person next door. And those are some of the things that... There was a lot of letter writing. There was more expression through that, but I don't know how today's youngsters conduct themselves.
Well, Cyrus does. He goes on Tinder and nobody swipes to the right. But Mr. Bachchan, to what extent do you think popular cinema in particular has had a huge impact on the way men and women interact with each other?
Yeah, I think that, cinema in many ways imitates life, and we have several filmmakers here who would agree with me. They read something, they see something, they observe something, and then they develop and they create around it. Many times cinema is accused of, sending a wrong impression or a wrong visual out. But I think equally responsible are some of the other people who project what happens. And this is not, anything to say against you, I dare not. But sometimes, let's say, for example, they say that, cinema propagates violence, but Indian cinema is just 100 years old. But are you trying to tell me that there was no violence before that?
Sure.
Some of the greatest tragedies and violence happened during the time of the partition of the country.
No, I think positive sort of way where you are sending out signals how to say, how to approach a woman, how to be, romantic with her, how to dress a certain way, how to date, for instance. People, do you think they take signals from the movies far more than they do from, peers who are absolutely as clueless at that age anyway?